Welcome back to the program. And his name has changed. They were actually, I'm sure when they were typing out his name, they made a mistake. You see, I've always known him as Abdul Razak Adam. I mean, obviously with the title Al-Haji attached to it. But the folks sent me the lineup, Rosie, and they wrote Abdul Razak. There's an N before the R. That's Abdul Razak. Hi, Emmanuel.
Did you have to say that?
Namamenka. And then Rosie Amu is here as well before.
But me too, my name was written.
Let's see. Kwama, that's all right. Kwama is there. I mean, it's there. I will not deny that it's Rosalind Kwama Amwa. And hey, senior. I'm lying. He says senior sports journalist. But his own, and if you think I'm lying, Rosie, please take a look at it. What is this?
I am not saying these days, since you turned 60 plus onwards, you become too mischievous.
That is folks. Some accusations.
Maybe.
Neil, if you are watching, please put Rosie in the right place. All right. So we are going to be looking at so many aspects, particularly that vexatious question that we asked yesterday, particularly with both Jerome, with Neil, and then with Kwame. And I don't know if we have the tape there. Mr. Producer, if you have the tape, can we play the Akosua Ejay interview that she had with the fans about whether it would be disastrous if we didn't qualify? Because both Kwame and Jerome were of different views. So let's see what some of the fans said. Right, so this is it. Akosua went to the Accra Stadium, went around, and went and asked a few people whether it would be disastrous if we didn't make it.
Oh, Charlie, I'm very serious for here. You know, they should qualify. I've started contributing 5 city. Hey, my eye is red like this. I've started. We want to unite Ghana. I want to go to US. I want to go to Canada to go and watch. I beg them.
We go to Mexico.
I'll go. We make them qualify. The only thing is I want to go and watch them because I'm started contributing 5 city. 5 city up to that time, I'll get a lot of money. At least when I join this city, I'll go to and watch them. Just they should qualify for us. I want to go and watch Canada and US and Mexico. I want to go to that place.
So when you go, you come back.
Oh, I'll come back. Why not? I want to watch. It's my country. I want to support them. So I want to go and go and support them. Yeah. Don't laugh. I'm serious. Because we want to go and support them in Canada. I mean it, and I mean the job. I've started.
But the thing we say, you mean the matches in Canada and US. But what I'm saying is, what if all our matches are in Mexico?
Oh, by God's grace, our match will be in Canada and US. Because they know Ghana to be a peaceful country. We don't do anything bad. So definitely FIFA give us US. Hello.
Okay, so you heard it. I mean, the question was asked, what happens if our matches are in Mexico? The guy said, no, it'll be Canada, then you keep waiting for day. But all jokes aside, for you, yes, would it be disastrous if we?
Yeah, it will be.
Why?
It will be. Not because we are too good not to qualify, but because of the emotions that people attach to it, especially having qualified, from 2006, 2010, 2014. I think we missed out on the 2018. Yes. And then we managed to qualify again in 2022, Qatar. So definitely the expectation is high. And then the added expectation has to do with the fact that it's been played in between 3 countries, particularly the United States of America, Canada, and then Mexico. So it has, that in itself, as you heard the fan say, I mean, has its own added,
incentive.
Yes, incentive for Ghanaians, to want to be there. As we all know, I mean, let's be honest. You could tell from what he said. I doubt, or I'll be naive to think that his prayer and everything is just mainly for footballing reasons,
for
other reasons. So definitely, that's that's the aspect or the angle in which I believe it will be disastrous if we fail to qualify. And but I agree with those who also think it should be normal. Like it shouldn't be disastrous because they think that the team we have, like the Black Stars, isn't solid enough. You know what I mean? For the expectation of their ability to qualify to be, at the top. So definitely in that aspect, I agree. But for me, I'm looking at the general feeling. I mean, the psyche of the nation. If we fail to qualify, honestly, I think it will be disastrous.
Rosie, what's your take?
Carla, I think that if you want to look at it purely from footballing angle, it would be bad if we didn't qualify. One, because we pride ourselves as among the best when it comes to football nations on the continent. Number two, I think that we've been there consistently, and anytime you've gone to the World Cup as a country, it brings some added prestige and honor to you. And so on that score, I mean, it isn't for nothing that, our forefathers, like the late Kwame Nkrumah and co, decided to use sports, and particularly football, as a unifying force and also as a political, in quotes, tool, because they know the power of sports. And so that is the other thing. The other thing is that, Carl, we cannot ignore the cash that comes in when you qualify for the World Cup. At least when you qualify, you make some money. When you progress, you make some money. And I'm hoping that even though in the past we didn't do much with it, we've still done something. That I'm hoping that now moving forward, if we qualify and we do win some money, it still will be invested in the game. Because it becomes, I always say that we should, but for the fact that we don't plan well and we don't have honest conversations about the monies that come in, we can always use it as a revolving fund to develop football. Number three, it does a great deal of, a lot for the players who will be qualifying. I mean, I don't need to say it. We all saw what it did to the Boateng boy who decided to play for Ghana, Kelvin Prince Boateng. We also, we've seen it. And so your value as a player also shoots up. People tend to respect you the more. And you add to your CV, your playing credentials that, look, I've also been to the World Cup. And so for all that, unfortunately, we don't have, because we haven't done so well in the youth competitions, we haven't had players in this team that have actually in the last 10 years progressed from the under-17 and under-20s. And so for these crop of players, going to the World Cup will mean a lot. I mean, can you imagine a World Cup without somebody like Mohamed Kudus?
I can, because Abedi Pele never played in the World Cup.
Well, at that time, it wasn't a big deal like that. It was a big deal. Like, we knew that qualification was, and we all knew some of the things that had gone on. And people were not, and at that time too, Carl, it was Abedi. And it wasn't just, sometimes it is teamwork, and it happens and it will happen. And that's why I say that somebody like Roy Keane, for all the great, player he was, he never had the opportunity to play at the World Cup.
Oh, he did though. 94. Republic of Ireland qualified, 94 he did. Oh. And then in 2002, he even walked out of the team, and that's where the Irish people hated him.
I mean, somebody like,
I know, people like George Best over the years. Cantona never played.
Never played. Yeah. In recent times, we've had a few of them who are shining for their clubs, and yet they are not there. And it pains them because they only go as spectators. For me as a journalist, Carl, covering a competition that has your team in it is not the same as covering a competition without your team. You and I know You and I know how it feels. Even the way you are treated as a media person. Yeah. They decide to give you match tickets as and when they want because your team is not playing. Yeah. And so for all these reasons, I think that we should. And again, for the fans who have endured and suffered, some of them would genuinely want to go and support the Black Stars and come back. And you always know that when your team is not playing, applying for visas to these countries when it is not a sporting visa. I mean, if it's a sporting visa, they will give you. Otherwise, you will struggle. And so for many people, they would want to use this as an opportunity to go and see the land of milk and honey and its neighbors, where they haven't been before. It's the dream of everybody to travel to the US, Carl, whether you like it or not.
US and Canada, but
they
don't like
mean,
Mexico.
no, yes, because of obvious reasons. But I always say that, look, whether you can't, once it's a trilogy, a trinity that is hosting it, you cannot. And I am sure that as time progresses, the organizers and the hosts will work out the modalities for visas and all that. But for me, I think that for purely football reasons and all the other things that I have mentioned, I want to be, how do we call it? I want to make it personal and say that, look, it becomes a big deal if we do not qualify. But at the other side of it too, you look at where you are, how you plan towards your qualification, how you prepare towards it, what you have and what you put in to determine whether you do that. If you don't qualify, the world will not come to an end. But naturally, it also fails to bring back the love, because for the past 5 years, this FA administration has been blowing the trumpet on bringing back the love. How do we bring back the love? Unless you qualify for the World Cup.
And let's qualify for the World Cup. We'll go for a short break, but when we come back, I'll be asking them a few questions concerning one, some of the utterances made by Abdul Karim Zito about the local whatnot, and then we'll expand it to, even though I may not necessarily agree with them, we'll expand it to other areas.
For Krabetum, a Hisense Hero promo! Ye crado na ya hobua, na kunya na bedawama. TV, sound system, mobile phone, ya titi so say who? She Hero 24 no Hisense TV so 4K definition papebi. Yes, also QLED and a mini LED TVs. Each is bia upebia. A 5032, akosi 100. She shom na you dear. With the Hisense TV, Asha Hero 24. Asa uti stadium ho. Any down. Sound no emu ye clear. Na ukra Hisense mobile phone. Baby uti mishe. Every 10th, every 15th June. Adi afo. Na yasa teswo. Aye Hisense Hero promo. Hisense Hero promo yi. Kwasu wo Hisense showroom bia. Enti koho na kwa jiwodie. Hisense. Everyday prices for everyday.
More than ever before, football fans demand unique insight and analysis. The Football Review is much more than a highlights show. Bold, provocative editorial that goes beyond conventional reporting, setting the agenda for football discussion. Champions League, Premier League, La Liga, Serie A, Bundesliga, Liga 1, and much more. 2 episodes every week, delivered each Monday and Thursday. Want genuine insight with hard-hitting editorial? Need compelling premium football content? The Football Review. Best bar none.
Even Summertex. And then also, I remember earlier this year, for crying out loud, you and I sat here, match day, when you came back. We spoke about, so Lamptey, Victor Lamptey wouldn't even get 5 minutes play?
Well, it's a bit paradoxical. It depends on which side of the aisle you are or how you look at it. Well, we all advocated for at least, we've been advocating for our local professionals, to get the opportunity to be selected, into the national teams and what have you. But in the same vein, we are the same people who say our league is in shambles. So I asked myself, from which league are we expecting the players to be selected from? Is it from the league that we say, and truly so, that isn't in the best of its shape? Sometimes my point is that if you look at it sentimentally, then you have an issue. But I would like us to look at it dispassionately and mainly on footballing reasons, whereby it should be on merit only, regardless of where you play from. Those days that Frank Kamankwa used to command the right back of the Black Stars, he wasn't a foreign player. Those days, that's Emmanuel Ama Senegal, Frimpong Manson, and then Emmanuel Ama and co. used to command the defense lineup of the back four of the Black Stars. They weren't foreign-based players, but you could tell the quality that they displayed. That it was easy to agree. You could easily agree that the back four will be made up of Isaac Asari, Frimpong Manso, Emmanuel Ama Senegal, and Frank Amankwa at that time, and then Simon Ado as the goalkeeper. They're all locally based players. No one was saying that, but why were they being picked against players playing outside? My point is that they were picked not because they were locally based players, but they merited it.
Some have argued that at that time there were only one or two who were out. I mean, Prince Polly, Stanley Abora, Ali Ibrahim, Abedi Pele, Tony Abua. And they were basically four players.
No, but they were players. But it's because they were the best selected. You get my point? What I'm trying to say is that there were other players out there, but who didn't merit selection because these local players then were better.
Yeah, but we didn't have defenders going out in those days. Now it's a cross-board.
Yes, but you agree with me. Even Samuel Osekofo, until he became regular with Bayern Munich, he wasn't a starter in the Black Stars. Yes, because you see, then when he was with is it Nuremberg or Jomberg? I forgot how they call it. He was there on loan or something like that.
Yeah,
he wasn't a starter. It was these same local defenders who were starting. Even when he got to Bayern, he was still with was it the Olympic team? Or is it the under-20?
I will not argue with you on that.
Yes, but the point I'm just trying to make, Carl, is that let's look at it on merit. If there's a player, you see, before the CAN 2003, but it was hosted this year in Ivory Coast.
Yeah.
We all clamored for Richmond Lamptey, isn't it? Because he merited, not because he was a local player, because we felt at least,
I see where you're coming from.
Especially in the game that we couldn't dominate the midfield. We needed someone like him, at least to come in and, you know what I mean? So we're all clamoring for him. So my point is that let's look at it from them meriting to be in the team than the fact that
have a quota,
that kind of thing, because we should at least expect one or two. What benefit of what good is it? I mean, we always select 3 or 4 and end up dropping them, isn't it?
Carl, I beg to differ with Alaji's submission. For me, yes, I agree with him that it should be on merits, but I also believe that there should be a quota, because at this moment, local players have become the minority. Time passed. Local players were in the majority and the foreign-based were in the minority. And even with the foreign-based players, we always knew who would make it because we could see them. Now the tables have turned and we have many more players playing outside Ghana than we have in Ghana. For those of us who do not have, I always believe that, look, and I want to always say that it should be on merit, but it should also be a quota where we say that we are deliberately encouraging people to stay on. Because when you do, and I know that I am good enough, and that irrespective of where I ply my trade, I will not be overlooked for the national team. I will not be in a hurry to run away and go and play anywhere but Ghana. In the past, we've had people play in the local Black Stars, and then when they come back, we find them go away, and we don't even hear of them again. We don't see them, and they will tell you that at this moment, it is also playing for the money. If for nothing at all, they are also footballers. They are Ghanaians. They deserve to have some of the winning bonuses of the Black Stars that the Black Stars will get. They also need to enjoy some of the per diem and I always say that it is because we have not made it a deliberate effort. It is not on paper. And so the coaches come and they are given whatever, they are given the freedom to do that. But Carl, let's say that, look, out of the 21 players that you would call up, if it's for the qualifiers, we need you to have, after all, at the end of the day, only 11 players will start. So let's say that, Carl, let's say that you have 18 players who you would want to, out of the players that you have. Because when you do that, when you give the local players the chance to also compete in the team, one, it builds up their confidence. It makes them feel that they are also good enough. They have been seen. They've caught the attention of the coach and the nation.
Is that not a PR gimmick?
No, it's not. It's not, Carl. It's not. I can't easily think of a name of...
I thought of two. John Entry,
yes,
who shone for
Yes.
Dreams all the way through the semis. I can think of him straight away.
And Carl, apart from everything else, and I'm saying that, look, for the confidence that they will build, the exposure that they will get, and I want to just oppose what I'm saying to what is happening to the Black Queens now.
Okay.
You realize that the Black Queens in the past, we were doing well even without the foreign-based players. We were doing well. Now, most of us, our local players, may not have the opportunity to play if the coach decides that she's sticking to her plan of using only foreign-based players. So what happens to the pool of talents who unfortunately are not males and so may not be able to travel abroad and get teams to play as easily as the male counterparts do? We should make a deliberate effort and say that, look, for every team that you build, if for nothing at all, let us have 4 players from the local league. That is how you also give confidence to the local players. That is how you also sow a seed of confidence and respect for the local league. We may not. It is not. People will say it is not done, it is not done, it is not done, or it should be. And I'm saying that even when you do that, when you do the quota system, Carl, it should be on merit. I don't believe in wholesale promotion. I don't believe in considering people. I always tell you, Carl, you know me. When it comes to considering me for any role, look at my competencies. Don't look at me because I am Rosalind, because I am this, but look at what I bring to the table. Am I good enough to fit into your team? If you gave me training, if you gave me some preparation, you prepped me up, will I be fit for purpose for you? Don't look at me because you think that there should be a gender balance and so I'm looking for a woman. There should be a gender balance because I'm looking for a minority, or I am looking for somebody who has experience. I may be experienced, but I may not fit into your team. But what I'm saying is that for the national team, it is a national team. It is not Ghanaians living abroad. It's not for Ghanaians living abroad. It is a national team. So wherever you are, irrespective of where you are. Time Pascal, Bukar Caesar, didn't he pick somebody from Division 1? Didn't we see players from Division 1?
But they'll say that at that time, Division 1 was strong.
Yes, but what I'm saying is that who would help us build it? Because it is because all our players know that, look, even no matter how well I play, if I stay in Ghana, I will never get a call-up. The only call-up I'm likely to get is into the local Black Stars. And after the local Black Stars, that's it. But what I'm saying is that there should even be a time where players in the local Black Stars should also command a place in the Black Stars. Because after all, it is roles. The arguments will be that these days coaches don't have enough time to train with the players, and so they are not able to groom them to fit the roles. But give the player that chance.
Alhaji, clearly you have a different view. The argument that was put forward as per what Zito said, and I'm not behaving as a spokesperson here. He did that interview with our own Jerome, and we all saw it. Was that it helps us build the league. After we are screaming, going back and forth, bring back the love, bring back the love. And they're not asking for 14 players to be there. They're asking for at least 2. That's the impression I get from the statement that said. But Rosie has also put out her version of it. You are in the other camp. And it's divided down the middle. I'm not saying anybody is right or wrong there. Is there any way you can convince, let's say, Otto, that he's still on the right path? Because Otto in many ways, when he was asked at the media conference about, so how come he chose, what's the goalkeeper name? Asare, Fred Asare. He said he depended on his assistants.
Yeah.
And in that case, we all know it's Fatau Dauda as the goalkeeping coach. Yeah. So what's your take in that direction?
Well, you see,
And you can add, you can.
yes,
Yeah,
I sort of agree with what Rosalind has said to a large extent. But you see, practically, the coach will tell you, at the end of the day, I'm measured based on what? Performance. If at any point in time, I think this pool of players are those going to give me, who are going to give me the results that I need,
Okay.
I will stick by them. But also, what I'm just trying to say is that those we're calling local players today, let's use Karim Zito, for instance, or Dreams FC. It's Aziz who's their shining prospect, right? Today, he's been what? Shopping, or they've been shopping for teams for him abroad.
Is it not because,
I'm coming.
thank you.
It's because of the economical reason more than his ability to be in
okay.
any of the national
Because
teams.
some of
And
them,
I agree.
Some of them will say that it's because they don't see the light of day.
No,
that
but
they go out, so that when he goes to Vietnam,
Yes.
they'll call him.
Oh, but come on.
That's what some of them have said.
Yeah, but the point I'm making is that the first consideration is the financial.
That one I'll concede that.
Yes.
Because
so the point I'm
you and
making
I-
is that
And I will support that. And that is why, Carl, and that is why it is also important that at least some of them get into the national team.
I'm not denying about that. Like I was saying, the two of us.
the point is
we are
that
part of it.
you see, it was Fatau Dauda's scouting of Kutipasari of Kumasi and Asante Kotoko that got him the call-up, isn't it?
Yes.
So the other coaches, and we've seen, what is his name, the assistant coach?
John Pencil.
John Pencil go around leagues with his pen,
You have seen that. You have
taking
seen
notes
it,
of
yeah.
players and what have you. So probably he thinks that per the standard they are looking at or per those they are inviting, he hasn't seen any. Because I believe strongly, if he has had also like vouched for any other player or so, the coach or the head coach would have considered, just as he considered the Pasari's inclusion in the team. My point is that if a player is good, regardless of where he is, that's why I still bring the what's his name, the Kotoko midfielders,
Lamptey.
Richmond Lamptey. Any day, I will want him to be included in any Black Stars team, regardless whether it's a World Cup qualifier, it's at the World Cup itself or anything, because he has the potential, he has the ability. He needs the encouragement and the confidence to be able to exhibit his footballing talent.
Some people say that the hard-to-work defender Fatau was brilliant, but when he was moved in, it was, and that's why local players will not be considered. Because when they suddenly go into the mode, and no disrespect to him or anybody else, he means starting a Cristiano Ronaldo, and then already.
But as Rosalind said, so they need these kind of games to get the exposure and experience. Yes, I agree. But the point I'm making is that I don't think the door has been shut on our local-based professionals. Maybe at this point in time, and looking at the games he wants to play, and the style he wants to play, he thinks it will be easy to inculcate his style into the foreign-based players who are used to the system he wants to play, as against the local-based players who will take time to sort of. But I believe in subsequent matches, qualifiers will get a blend of one or two brilliant players. My point is that if a player is playing for Brecum, Chelsea, and he's good enough, so be it. He should be invited.
I was highly upset. I'm sorry. I said this yesterday. Rosie, I was highly upset about this.
I know.
I was.
Athletics,
and I was happy to find out that on Sunday, the Black Stars had been, quotation marks, had been sacked to the Accra Sports Stadium because the way they were treating the field, and even when we were doing the, how do you call that thing? Not the field, the tracks, the under-17 tournament.
Yes.
It wasn't good enough. Brand new ones, and this let's get this clear. This is not a football stadium. This is not, I repeat, this is not a sports stadium. It's an athletics stadium. Athletics over. And so that you treat the tracks with exactly what it is. And the pitch, what you call the pitch, that's why Ofe the one who won us the gold medal at the African Games, complained
Desmond.
bitterly about it.
Desmond.
Desmond. Because the pitch is slightly undulating. And there's a reason for that in athletics as against football.
Yes.
Football might be smooth so that the ball can run through.
Yes.
With track and fields, if you went through, like, let's say a jav, and it's normally supposed to go in an arc and come with the head down.
Yeah.
If it doesn't, and the thing is not undulating and it's a smooth pitch and it lands flat, it can continue going with the momentum.
Yes.
And can go and hit somebody. The same with the short put. In order to prevent it from bouncing, when you throw it, it goes into that and it hits and it stays there, rather than bouncing and bouncing.
I agree. I think it has everything. It has everything to do with the paucity of quality training pitches, in the country. That's why they are relying. I mean, and I think we are over relying on this Legon Stadium. I agree. I'm also happy that at least they've been moved, or they will move their camp to, or their training base to the Accra Sports Stadium.
Okay.
I think a lot of pressure has been put on this pitch, and I think if care is not taken, we wouldn't even enjoy it for what it is meant for.
I'll get back, Rosie. I'll get back to you. We are supposed to go across and go pick some ads from both Station of the Nation and ourselves. So we'll be right back after this. Don't worry. And before we do that, good morning to you, Professor Kwamina Kwanse-Edu, former rector of GIJ and former vice chancellor of Unimac University. We'll be right back.
Yɛde foforɔ koraa bɛtum ɛyɛ Hisense Hero promo yɛkrado na yɛ ahoboa na konya na bɛda wo ama TV, sound system, mobile phone yɛtete so sɛ hu hwɛ Hero 24 no wɔ Hisense TV so 4K definition papa bi yɛsan so wɔ QLED and mini LED TVs inches bi a wopɛ bia ɛfiti 32 ɛkɔsi 100 hyehyɛm na yi wo deɛ wode Hisense TV ɛhyɛ Hero 24 Asa uti stadium ho any down sound no emu ye clear na ukra Hisense mobile phone baby a with me share every 10th every 15th June ade afo na ya sa teso eye Hisense Hero promo Hisense Hero promo e kwaso wo Hisense showroom bia enti ko ho na kwaji wo de Hisense everyday prices for everyday
Welcome back to the program. Folks, let's be sure about it. A few things here. One, it's not going to be easy. Let's not delude ourselves, regardless of what I said yesterday, regardless of what I've said today, that I just have a funny feeling that we are going to win in Mali. Believe you me, it ain't going to be easy. One, you're playing away to probably your biggest rival. Two, you also know that right now there are no small boys in football again. Let's get that absolutely clear. I'm not being patriotic here. I just have that funny feeling. Normally, 9 times out of 10, I'll say, hey, Ghana will beat Mali in Kumasi. But I doubt whether we'll win in Bamako. But I've got this funny feeling that it's going to turn a bit right for us. And it will be how we can do it. Let's take a look at the table as it stands. Let's focus a bit on Ghana's own, okay? If we have the table, can we put up the log? Other than that, we'll probably have the discussion here and then hopefully they'll get the log up. Listen, it's not been easy, Rosie.
It won't, Carl. I mean, the very first day the draw was conducted.
Look at who's on top.
I'm saying that
Group I.
And I'm saying that from the very first day that the draw was conducted, people started saying that the only challenge we would have will be Mali. And I kept telling people that, look, these days, gone were those times in 20 years ago, even 10 years ago, where you would say that irrespective of what happens, Ghana was going to finish on top. For me, I think that we've put ourselves in this situation because we had the players, but we didn't have a good coach. We had, it's like cooking. You have you have the ingredients, but you know that if you don't have a good cook, somebody to know the right measure of things and mixing them, you will not have.
First time I used rice cooker. It turned out to be like rice
water.
Because
so exactly that. True. And we have ourselves to blame. Can we break ourselves free from this? Certainly we can. Mm-hmm. What it means is that you have to win all the rest of your games hoping that the others will also slip along the line. And so that will be the game changer. Carl, it will be unthinkable that the World Cup's loss have been increased to 48.
And we have 9 in Africa.
48, you have 9 in Africa, and Ghana will not be there. I mean, so whatever we will have to do, that's why I'm saying that I look at the call-ups, the players we have in the team, and I am convinced that we will win. And World Cup qualification has never been easy, Carl. From the first qualification in 2005, when we made it to Germany 2006.
Hey, but that one we beat both.
No, but I'm saying,
without conceding a goal, 3-2-0.
Carl, I'm saying that from that time, or from the time I became a sports journalist in 1994 and 93, when we were.
That one was struggling.
No, that's what and I'm saying that, Carl. And at that time, we said, look, there were too many things that had come to play. The politics in the team, the politics at CAF that was ensuring that Ghana would not qualify, and all that, until 2006, 2005, when we broke the jinx. Because at that time, the players, even though had their issues, decided that, look, we were going to put everything aside and make sure that we qualify. You won and you won well. So even with some matches to spare, you knew that you were almost on your way to Germany. At this moment, and that is where the sweetness of the pudding will be, when your back is against the wall, like we did to Nigeria, when everybody had given up on us. 2 years, I mean, the last World Cup. No, when everybody thought that it was not going to happen, we went to Abuja and it happened. And we were all excited. Just that we didn't prepare well to go to, I mean, the UAE to go and qualify, to do well. Qatar. Yes, so that is what happened. But what I'm saying is that you let us qualify first. How do we qualify? Taking it a game at a time. Do we have confidence in Otto Addo to do that job for us? It is not going to be easy. Carl, it has never been. The last one we qualified, was it to Brazil? We beat Cote d'Ivoire. It wasn't easy. It's never been easy because when you want to play in Africa, unfortunately, somewhere along the line, you'll be paired up among some of the bigger boys too. You are big.
The most nostalgic one, because when we whopped Egypt 6-1, it was awesome.
So you see, it was awesome for you. And so when somebody also beats you, it becomes awesome for the person. But what I'm saying is that, so do your homework well, prepare well, to the point that nobody can beat you. Carl, as I sit here, I always say that, look, if for nothing at all, there are certain things that I hold in trust and I'm proud of it, that nobody can take away from me. What is the Black Stars' rise to fame? This current Black Stars, what will be their rise to fame? This is the time for them to do it. Mali will not be easy. Mali has never been easy customers, even at the AFCON. Even at the AFCON, Mali has always been, they've always been a thorn in our flesh. And now it looks like they have had some I don't know, but some pride and some effrontery to say that, look, we are daring Ghana. But that is what football has become, to the point that CAR, Chad, and everybody else will think that they can come and have a go as Ghana. It is for you to teach them that, look, you might have slipped, but you haven't fallen. Slipping means that you still have your hand on the rope. Once you get your right hand onto it, you can recover and climb up. And that is what they should go to Bamako and teach and show us.
Okay. It's interesting when you talk about the man, because I've always maintained, falsely or wrongly, not falsely, but that the defeats that we have lost to Mali when it comes to the Nations Cup have always been when it's third and fourth place, when we don't care about what the outcome is. Because it's, how do they say it in English? So near yet so far. So near yet so far. And then you make, that's why I personally have been against third and fourth place matches. You don't find change. You
don't like it, but somebody also, look.
You saw what happened between at the under 17.
Yes.
There was no need for a third and fourth place match, because the top two were the ones qualifying. The team that went, Ghana and Nigeria, for the third and fourth. They just went through the motions. They didn't care.
It is because it was Ghana and Nigeria. But if it had been any other team that doesn't have as many silverware, that doesn't have a pedigree in football, it would be very important to them. Carl, I always say that, look, it is part of the system. You can't scrap it. You have to play.
But Carl, to add to what Rosalind is saying, remember 1992 Olympics?
Yes.
We took the third and fourth place serious against Australia.
Yes.
We beat them by 1 goal to nothing. I think courtesy Isaac Asare.
Isaac Asare, yes.
Because he didn't have an Olympic medal.
Yes. So it depends on
third and fourth.
Yeah.
That's why Europe have abandoned it.
Yeah.
That's why very soon South America said they will abandon it. They'll give you the bronze medal for the 2 teams because you're so yet no so far. I'm good for another extra match. And that's what I think should happen. Give the 2 teams whatever it is to let them go.
FIFA rankings, it matters. For rankings,
Right.
it matters.
FIFA
And that's what I'm saying, that Carl, they don't want to receive the medal because it's a token like you do in boxing. Please, let us play and also say that we've beaten Carl to 4.
Hey, it's hard. Okay, so here's the situation now. The table shows we are in third position. No, 4th.
Not 4th.
Okay. Admittedly, only 2 games. I'll concede that. But I would have thought that at this particular juncture, Alaj, we probably should have been on 6. Not even 4.
Well, this is where.
And obviously, this is not anything to do with Otwado. This is Chris Hughton.
Yes, that's this where I want to come back to what Rosie said with regards to not having a good coach. Well, you could see tactically we lost that game against is it Comoros, isn't it? Away as a result of
1-0.
Yeah, you see, it's like we're too defensive, we're too passive. It was after we were down that we started playing, as you said, so close yet so far, away from it, and we wasted chances, and we think the right tactics for the boys to perform wasn't employed. That is how come we lost that game. At least we should have had a draw, especially when Mali had drawn with Central African Republic in Bamako. And they didn't start well themselves. I think they lost away.
No, Mali. They drew.
They drew.
And what happened was that they even scored in the dying minutes of. They equalized that goal against Sierra. It was, I think, 87th or 86th minute there.
So we should have capitalized on that and be on top of the. But it's not lost yet. I think we still have a lot to fight for. As we've all agreed, it's never going to be easy. Mali have been our boogie size, for some time now. And one thing I've realized with this, our Francophone neighbors, is that beating Ghana itself, it's an incentive, for them to do more. But what is our incentive? How do we view the qualification? How do we view it? Is it just another game to go and play and there's a winning bonus here? There's what have you? Or we are determined, to make a name, at least to right the wrongs of Abidjan. You see, it depends on the psyche of the boys. How do they view it? Are they in sync with the Ghanaian populace as to how we cherish and value the qualification? So we need to find out all this. It all plays a role in our determination. As I said, Mali doesn't even need any incentive. Beating Ghana itself, it's something for them.
Carl, it's a psychological game.
Yeah.
At this moment, psychologically, how are we prepping the boys up? Are we is the coach going to tell them that you need to do this for yourself, God and country? What are you going to tell them? I mean, because I always think that the psychological aspect of the game is also very important. It is not enough to tell them that to win and qualify for the World Cup. For the Francophones, Cote d'Ivoire, Mali, Burkina Faso, and look at the way every time they come up against Ghana, they play against us. Politically, they see Ghana as their big brothers.
Yeah.
They know that Ghana led the way and everybody else has come. The only person who feels that, look, they should always be outshining us, they would not understand it if we beat them, are the Nigerians, because they think that by size and by population, they don't see how small country Ghana would come and beat us. Compare that to the Francophones. They also see Ghana as the leading star. Ghana always takes the lead and everything, and they admire Ghana.
Yeah.
So when they come and beat you, they know that it is an achievement. I mean, let them beat you and not qualify for anything. It is still an achievement for them.
Yeah.
And so psychologically, they come up, prepare that, look, even if we won't go anywhere, we want to prove a point that we have also come of age. And so what do we tell our players? What is the history that they know between both political and even the sporting history. How do we psych them up? And that it is not just about them and what it will do for them and their careers, but it is about the entire psyche of the entire nation and what it means, the pride of defending the red, gold, green, and black star. What does it mean? Have anybody told them the consequences of missing out in an expanded World Cup? Because some of these boys, they really don't have anything to lose, because whether they play or unless you want to go and play in England, that is where they will say that you should have played. I don't know whether that rules, but even that, most of them are playing now because they will play for the national team anyway, so they will get to the working permit to go and play in England. But whatever it is, at the club level, they are shining.
Well, the majority of them now have.
No, that's what I'm saying. At this moment, I mean, they have nothing to lose, because if they don't shine for the national team, they still can go back. If they are not engaged, they will go back. Unlike previously, where the motivation was that play so that you catch the eye of the whoever it is, so that
and then
you can
qualify for resident status and as well as working there.
Yeah. Now they don't require that. So what will be that motivation? The motivation is that it is now your turn to ensure that you carry the flag of Ghana, you carry the flame of Ghana to the next World Cup. Can you imagine your peers are playing in the World Cup? And that is how come people like Ronaldo will always kill themselves to go and play, because he cannot imagine how his peers will be at the World Cup and then Portugal will not be there. His peers will be at the World Cup and maybe France will not be there. Can you imagine it? And so if we say that we are the big boys, we have 9 slots now, you let the younger guys vie for the 4. The big guys should vie for the 5. And who are the big guys? Carl, who are the big guys in football? Even North Africa. Let's say that North Africa will get to. West Africa has always produced the better.
Well, we can look at the table and see how the parents are. If you can take a look at the tables, the various tables from A to I. I mean, this one, look at the G. Algeria is in that one.
Look at where they are.
And Tunisia is in that one.
Yes.
If you go to A, Egypt already, they've got maximum points that we were talking about. The only other place, I think, where they may have...
look at where Senegal is.
Where is Morocco at the moment? I think Morocco is in D or
I was thinking, the only team that will give Senegal a tough time will be DR Congo.
Morocco already have... They've lost 1.
No,
they've lost 1.
They've lost 1.
Yeah, they've lost 1. But you can bet
they've not lost 1. They've only... Because that group has less teams.
No, they played 2 games.
No, what I'm saying is, if you look at... We have 1, 2, 3. You have 6 in each group. The Morocco group, you have 5.
Yes. What it is that only one nation is qualifying. Case closed. Cameroon are in pole position, one of the heavyweights. And look at it in terms of the seeding. Can we go back to A, B, and C? Let's start with A, B, and C. Egypt was seeded for that group. Senegal was seeded for that group. Nigeria was seeded.
But look at where Nigeria are.
Look at where they are, because they've actually drawn 2 games. They are meeting South Africa on Friday.
Yeah.
We are playing Thursday. Then let's go to D, E, and F. If you go to Group D, do you have Group D? Yeah. Cameroon were the seeded nation.
All the seeded nations
Morocco
are
is
doing
there.
well.
F, Ivory Coast is there. Let's go to the last ones. Good. G, H, and I. Algeria was seeded. Tunisia was seeded. No. We were not seeded. Mali was seeded. And yet, the so-called 2 nations.
But as at when the draws were done, Mali was the 10th ranked African nation in terms of
and also,
so how did they get?
Ghana was 11th.
Yes, and I also think think that they also used the performance of the last AFCON.
No, over a period of time. This was not FIFA. Don't care about AFCON.
They did this before.
No, it was 9 and 10. It wasn't 10 and 11.
Oh, it was 9 and 10. Yes.
So Mali was put there. That's why Mali was put at the top. And then we missed out.
So you realize that from A to H, apart from Nigeria, and we are not siblings for nothing. Apart from Nigeria and Ghana, all the seeded teams, all the teams that the pundits will put their money on are doing well. We always knew that the group with South Africa and Nigeria was going to be tough. The group with Ghana, Mali was going to be tough. But everybody else is playing.
Let's go to the Nigeria one. Let's go to there you are.
But Carl, I don't know if you've realized, in recent years, Nigeria start like qualification slowly, but they pick up pace. You see, even in the last World Cup, remember how they started poorly, but they picked up when it matters, and then that's how come they got the playoff to play Ghana. But it's only they met, you know.
Unfortunately,
the point is that you see, when you have the easiest route, why do you want to always make life difficult for you?
I agree.
That is why, for me, when I want to put aside my journalism eyes and I want to be a football fan, I will not forgive you when you do some of these things.
I agree.
Because at the end of the day, you end up getting yourself tangled in so, because right now you are now giving the new coach, even though
let's go to Group I so that Rosie can talk about it. Yeah, Group I, Ghana's group.
And that is why, Carl, you know, you've always known my stance about our former coach. Even his demeanor on the pitch. What was it? You had all the ingredients, and yet you couldn't get.
He had all the ingredients, yet at the time people didn't like him, and people were behind him.
But Carl, it doesn't matter
but he didn't make it difficult for them either.
Carl, I always, when Milo came, how many people liked Milo?
You mean the second coming?
No, the first coming. How many people liked him?
Carl, and yet he won the love.
Yes, you should win. I mean, sometimes, Carl, I don't know, but I remember that those times, my grandfather would tell you that sometimes you meet somebody and you don't love the person outright, but you continue to have a relationship with that person, and over time the person wins you over. And that is what should have been. But if you didn't cock your ears to what we were saying, because when he was taking the job, he knows that Ghana is a country of 33 million coaches. We all have our style. We all have a say. But it is for you to say that I am the one in charge now, and so this is how I'm going to do it. And when I have done it, you will love me for it. But you didn't make us love you. You rather made us estranged, and now we are all talking about how we have to go. I mean, time passed. We shouldn't be thinking of what will happen. But now we will say that, okay, when we go, even a draw will be good for us. Now we are saying that, look, we have to go to Bamako and get a win. Is that fair or not, Ghanaians?
Well, it's fair. You went and lost.
It's not fair.
You lost to Comoros.
That's why I'm saying that it's not fair.
If you had beaten Comoros, you'd have been in the same position as Egypt, as Algeria.
Maybe we were complacent.
Even this psychological aspect of it, of Ghana being on top, you know it's going to be difficult. It would have been demoralizing for the
team behind. Yes, absolutely. I understand.
Knowing very well that if Ghana is on top with 6 maximum points, it will be difficult to outstage Ghana at the summit of the table. So that in itself has its own psychological, advantage. But we fail to capitalize on that.
So here's the situation. They are leaving.
Do we have a psychologist with the team now?
I have that idea. That's what I was going to ask. I was going to say we are leaving today. And do we have the full complement? I don't know for a fact, but the full complement of a team behind the team. That is the doctors, the physios, the psychologists, and all those things, video, referee, how do you call that? And video analyst and things, yes.
Well, I don't know, because usually they don't give us the information of those you mentioned. I mean, the team behind the team. We don't get to know that. Like Rosie mentioned, we don't even know if the team has a team psychologist. And if the team psychologist is part-time or just for the game, or just anytime the Black Stars, that kind of, it helps, to psych them and let them know that, look, let's forget about the past. Let's not go that, it's Mali, they've always been our boogie side, and it's going to be the same, you know what I mean? So let's do something different. We are going in now with the sole purpose of, we know it's going to be hard, but we're going to do everything we can to at least, you know what I mean, win the maximum point. If not at all, at least get a point. You see, that kind of thing. To that psychological shift from, it's Mali. We know we are just going there to be beaten and, and return back home. I think it will help a lot if we are able to take the psychological aspect into consideration and make it a very important aspect of the team.
On the day that Otuado had the press conference, unfortunately, I wasn't around, and so I wasn't able to ask questions. But it was one of the things I wanted to know. What is the support that he's getting aside the technical support? Because, Carl, we all know that when you talk about a technical team, the head coach, the assistant head coach, the goalkeeper's trainer, the physiotherapist, the medical team, and then the team manager. But we know that in 2005, 2004, 2005, we said that, look, we always lost focus when it mattered most. So as part of the detailed plan, the intentional plan to win, we attached a psychologist to the team. Okay. And Carl, on the times that the psychologist did not travel with the team, those were the times we lost the finals. So I can talk about Angola, 2010, and Equatorial Guinea, 2015. We went all the way to the final, but we didn't have a psychologist. And so when it mattered most, we lost it. And so if we want to go back and do well, I think that we need to look at some of these costs. I mean, I always say that per the standards, you see that you have your 21 players. When you are traveling, you have 21 players, you have this, you have this, you have this. Every other or any extra cost beyond what is required, the cost is borne by the FA or the person who is sponsoring. At that time, like an Akan would say, yeah, the cattle castle. So the psychologist traveled with the team, and the psychologist was the additional cost. And there were other players too, so that those players will get the exposure. And this is how you build a team. It shouldn't be about the officials who will be traveling. Sometimes the officials would have to cede their seats for an important member of the team to travel, if it is about cost. So let's say that, Carl, you are a member of the management committee, and so it has been scheduled that you have to travel. But you are looking at a team that has a young player who would benefit from that. Can you, out of unselfishness, say that, look, instead, we should let the 70-year-old player go and gain the exposure and the experience. In this case, can we pay for, have we been able to solicit the services of a psychologist who can work on the team to ensure that we play the full 90 minutes, even if we need to play plus 10 minutes added time on, we are able to hold it so that because you realize that one of the things is always that momentary loss of concentration that always causes us when it matters most. Can we get somebody to work on the psyche of the players to ensure that we do not? That is what the others are doing that we have not been able to do. And it is important that at this moment, I don't know, I haven't spoken to any of the FA team members. I haven't spoken to the the Black Stars Management Committee members. So I do not know. I speak as an ordinary Ghanaian at this moment who hasn't been able to get close to the team. Do we have some of these things that would help us?
I can't say whether we do. I haven't done enough on that. But for me, Alhaji, bringing it back into the situation, obviously it won't get to that stage because it's a group stage. But I'm looking at the history of Ghana, and particularly in the Nations Cup, penalties. I'm looking at it, and it's absolutely appalling. Now, I was writing down the years in which we've had penalty shootouts. I think the first one was 92. If I'm right.
Senegal.
Because I was thinking about, because from 1990, it was Algeria who won 1-0. I can remember that vividly. 1988, Cameroon won 1-0. I can also remember so many, 86, no, I'm not 100% sure. But at least 92, Ghana. 2000, admittedly, Cameroon beat Nigeria. And 2002, Cameroon beat Senegal on penalty shootouts. 2006, Egypt beat Ivory Coast on penalty shootouts. 2012, Zambia beat the Ivory Coast on penalty shootouts. 2015, Ghana lost to the Ivory Coast on penalty shootouts. And then 2022, Senegal beating Egypt on penalty shootouts. Ghana's name has appeared already 3 times, if not 4 times. So what is it that affects us as a nation when it comes to penalty shootout. There's one thing that I know. I don't know if it's in Australia, but it's in England. And they say that England and Germany meet. And the Germans won on penalties. Case close.
Well, I think it's more of a psychological thing. I think sometimes I don't know the importance we attach to penalty shootouts during preparations for tournaments. I don't know if we even consider it. If not the normal, we have routine training sessions. Penalty is part of the routine daily training. No, do we attach any importance to it? I beg to differ. You see, I think sometimes we prepare and psych our mind that we are too good to win it within the stipulated time, and then we don't have like a plan B. You see, some teams, even 20 minutes to the end of the game, they will have started preparing their penalties and what have you. So you see, those monitoring the opponent's goalkeeper and what have you will begin to put one or two things together. So that's why you see immediately extra time is over. You see the coaches will call first the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper's trainer would then have like a tete-a-tete with him and then give him information on the selected players to take the kicks. Which means they have a dossier, might have done a research on how, you understand, each player takes his kick and how you respond to it and what have you. So they do that prior to the game and then analyze that each player very well and then come to the conclusion that, okay, since Ghana is selecting A, B, C, D players, player A plays his penalty this way. So as a goalkeeper, this is what you need to do. But I doubt if Ghana has ever done that. We think winning has to be within the stipulated time, and after that, anything is bonus. So if you look at our demeanor, even in penalties, if you look at the recent one is the 2015 against Ivory Coast.
We scored the first one. I think they missed one. Our keeper saved one of their first one.
We lost
the rest.
So it should tell you that it's not something that we think we can win games through. But sometimes we forget that what's the name? Spain. Is it Spain? Through Iniesta. Is it Iniesta who scored?
Yeah, against Germany, not Germany, against Netherlands in the final in South Africa.
In South Africa. See, sometimes penalty shootouts is very important, but I doubt if the psyche of our boys is that there's a possibility we don't win through the normal channels. So we should always have one eye on our plan B. I doubt if we have a plan B. That is what I think.
It's quite disturbing.
Well, it's not for nothing that we've been colonized by
Carl,
England.
we always have. We will say that we have good penalty takers, but we also prepare our goalkeepers to be good penalty savers. Because you realize that for some teams,
they rely.
Once the game is nearing and almost nearing and ending in a draw, they will start preparing. If they have a goalkeeper who is better at saving penalties, they probably would introduce that goalkeeper in to come and have maybe 10-15 minutes to warm himself up into the game before they do it. Do we? Or because our goalkeepers are there, we think that too, as for our goalkeeper, because saving penalties is as important as
scoring,
converting them.
Yeah, okay.
And so these are things that's going forward. We should be deliberately inculcating. And so, Carl, you realize that it is from catch them young. You start teaching them so that you keep a tab and an eye on them, and you hope that if they don't get injured, they don't fall out of love with football, and they choose football as their career path. By the time they are there, they already, because you don't get up and just train overnight. Some are lucky, and I always say those are the ones that you say that is a divine blessing and all that. But there are others who will also come in and they will do it. And it's because of the training that they had from the beginning.
Okay, Rosie, I'm going to digress a bit because I want us to get this thing out of the way before if we continue with the passage. The Women's FA Cup final.
You see how he's made me smile.
The Women's FA Cup final, if I'm right. Is it this weekend?
Carl, this weekend is a final, a women's football festival of finals. It's the FA Cup final and the League final.
When you say the league final,
The league final is the one that will determine who will represent Ghana at the CAF Women's Champions League.
Okay.
And so for the first time, you have police ladies playing army ladies, but this will be police ladies' 4th appearance in the final.
Okay.
And then for the umpteenth time,
Hazakes
we are
versus-
getting tired of it. Hazakes versus Ampem Dakun.
Ah, but they are doing. Yeah.
Sadly, it is going to be at the University of
I'm
Ghana.
happy you said sadly because that's where I was going to take
I
you people.
know it's going to be at the University of Ghana Sports Stadium. Carl, reluctantly, we've had to play there because when you comb around the city, we don't have a pitch that is good enough to host
Is
the
Accra that
quarter
bad?
final. Accra is so big. You know, women's football, it drowns
Okay.
the fans that will
So
come
the
in
atmosphere?
there. And so it will affect the atmosphere. For some strange reason, even though we do not, it's not that, and we were thinking that the states would see us as partners and probably help us to cut down on costs. The charge they give us when we go to play women's football there, if it's not the national team and it's women's football, anything else, I think the cost is quite high. And so we look for a relative. And that is how come, Carl, maybe I would want you to help us start launching a campaign that they should fix the Elwak Sports Stadium. If they fix the Elwak Sports Stadium, it serves so many purposes. We have a good regional sports facility because now it's obvious the Kaneshi that I don't want to call it the Zuma Nelson.
Forget
because-
about it.
No,
Don't
that's what I'm
you
saying.
dare mention it.
That's the Kaneshi Sports Complex, which would have been an
Pardon?
alternative.
What do you say?
I said the Kaneshi Sports Complex. When I
Sports
said-
what?
I said, oh please, that was the name we know.
Kaneshi Park.
It hasn't. No, it is. I don't call it a park now because I mean the promises we were giving and all that happened. It didn't work. It hasn't materialized, and so we don't have it. We don't have Elwak. We can't use the Accra Sports Stadium. The Medina Park is artificial, and we've played there several times, and so we wanted to create that atmosphere of a festival of finals. If it works, it becomes a regular feature for us now, so that both the FA Cup final and the Women's League final will be played on the same day, so that the fans who come will get a double header. And so, Carl, please allow us. But we will make sure that the tracks are protected. We will not...
No comment.
No, we will not.
I'm
We will
giving
not.
up hope.
We will not. I mean, do anything to the tracks because we also hold it in. I mean, dearly to our hearts. But it's this Saturday, and the kickoff is at 3 p.m. So let us all
So it's
come.
not 4 p.m.
I mean, we it's 4 p.m. But we are trying to see if we can bring it
Oh, okay, I know
earlier.
where you're coming from. Yeah.
So that, I mean, you remember we had issues where, I mean, we've had issues where sometimes rain, light off and everything, that would affect. We don't want to postpone it to the next day. And so we are pleading, and we have some goodies. We have Predict and Win. We have the fastest hands. We are going to give out airtime, and we are going to reward our fans. I personally will be looking out for a family to give a special prize to. So a mother could come with their children, a father could come with their children, or the entire family
I
would
think you
come.
better restrict it to, and it should normally, when they do such things, there's always a caveat there that says that friends and families of those near to it, for instance.
Carl, when my children come, and
No,
my
I'm not talking about only you. You see,
No.
you're limited it to the Rosie Amu family because we know her. No. GBC staff, none of them and their friends and families must
No,
be
but
included.
yes.
So if they come to cover, that's what they normally say in those things. That the TV that has the rights, the radio that has the
no.
rights.
So Carl,
for them.
it's anybody who is linked or attached to the game or to the organization of the game. So even the players,
Yeah, absolutely.
the
no way.
players, the officials, their families, when they come, we know you are coming because you are coming to support
Support,
them.
yeah.
and so you are not part of it. Of course, when it comes to the fastest hands, that one you cannot restrict it. If the person comes there and says, I am mentioning, I'm calling out or reading out a scratch card, a number on the scratch card, and you happen to be the fastest hand and you get it, I cannot say that return it.
Bye-bye. Alhaji Abdul Razak sat on the same panel as you and we did that, and the fact that he picked a scratch card.
No, but I'm not doing it, and yes, I don't even know the scratch card.
Look, I'm better. So you think if Alhaji wins it, I will make noise? Well, Alhaji is not qualified. That's the point we're talking about.
No, what I'm saying is that so if Alhaji came with his family, I know Alhaji is
not entitled
coming.
To
yes,
anything.
He doesn't know. But when they are calling out the scratch card numbers, and he uses that.
No, we won't give him a scratch card. That's the point I'm driving home.
I mean, on that note.
But
anyway.
On a more serious note, to add to what Rosie is saying, it's unfortunate, Rosie, I wouldn't be in town, but I would have come there to watch.
Yeah, I know you're doing other things.
It's very conducive, the Legon Stadium. I don't know whether it's something that
You know why she's apologizing? Because of my personal
I know.
vendetta.
Yes. It's conducive for, relaxation, go there, relax and watch games without, the hustle and bustle of, iron metals, having to,
I know.
Get used to. So I've been there. I watched the under 17 Zone B. Yeah. I watched 3 games there, and I felt at home. Look, whenever I wanted to relax, that's where I go. So it's good, as Rosie is saying. I mean, if I was in town, honestly, I would have gone there with my family. So we entreat everybody. If you want to relax and enjoy football, I mean, go there, go with your family, and it will be a regular feature in your daily or weekend activities. Because I've loved it.
Great stuff. Folks, this is the way we bring to an end the driving our passion. It's obviously meant for the World Cup, but we could not have done this without adding the women's football too, because look, we are all Ghanaians, we must be patriotic enough. Rosie, I will thank you very much for coming on the program this morning. I know you're tight, and the two of us, we have some meetings somewhere else, as it were. And Alhaji, who is extreme, but the reason why you haven't been seeing him over the past 2.5 weeks, he's organizing something. I won't tell you that because you are sworn to silence, but he's extremely busy. Alhaji, thanks for coming on the program.
Bakal, before you go, please let me use this opportunity to wish Abigail Sena Sasu a blessed happy birthday.
Oh, today's her birthday.
Today is Abigail's birthday.
Sena, I bow at your feet. Sena Sasu.
And last Sunday was my birthday.
Abi, call me.
Last Sunday was my birthday.
Rosie had her birthday on Sunday, 2nd of June.
I didn't have a party. You didn't organize a party for me. You didn't even buy, somebody would say, Coca-Cola for me. He didn't buy Coca-Cola for me, Alhaji.
I was compelled to do something. I was compelled. So they should compare. In Ghana, everything is different, folks. The one who is traveling, the one who is celebrating, he does the show. Not people who come and do the show for them.
But in this case, I'm your younger sister.
But folks, tomorrow, this is what the people that we have, Philip Sitope, Atrim, Jerome Machre, and then Isaac Tete will be in house once again, same time exactly. And please make it a date. Remember, Thursday, the match is being shown live here. Once we finish driving our passion, they will switch over. They'll go for a little rest and come back and then start the discussion, pre-match discussion, and then everything else will flow. Kwame Ebo, I suspect, will be the one who will be holding it. Charlie, folks, it's been absolutely brilliant being here with you. God willing, I shall be back again tomorrow. Until then, thank you, Rosie. Thank you, Alhaji. Thank you for the whole team.